Tip the Wookiee bartenders 20% on droids. No bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no black pills or anything else of any kind. We are here as Star Wars fans and looking at things from a positive point of view using numbers and box office and economics to try to figure out what's really going on with Star Wars. Anyway, I wanted to go live today just because at this hour, just because my husband comes home. He may be home in an hour. He went to work today, but I can't see. There's a lot to do, even though a lot of people are getting the Transformer variant, which we probably will. Hey, Jonathan, I'm doing great. So, want to talk a little bit about. Well, let's see. First off, as you can see by the thumbnail, it is the. What is it? 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020, 2020, 21. It's the 5th anniversary of Carrie Fisher's death. That was, hey, Lady Sandy. One of the things I remember, it's going to stay with me. It's kind of like where was I on 9/11? Where was I when the Challenger was blown up? One of those things. I was on my way. Now, we'd known since before Christmas that Carrie had gotten ill on that flight. But she's Carrie Fisher. She'll kick his ass. I got a text from my husband who was home because he was still on active duty Marine at the time and he wasn't at work. They had time off. They had leave. And he basically said, I just heard Carrie Fisher died. And it was just like, I immediately went from hopeful to hopeless. And, you're a little kid and the women around you are various shades of insane. I'm talking about my oldest sister, my mom, my aunts had absolutely no personality on either side of the family. Carrie, as Leia, was one of those people who kind of stood out like a role model. And most of the time, the people in my life that are role models are men. My dad, my brothers, Harrison Ford, but John Wayne and George Washington. You think of the role models that you have in your life, but mostly men. Margaret Thatcher being one of the few women, Golda Meir, and a few others, but that's it. The Blessed Mother, of course. But as far as just contemporary role models from when I was a kid, Leia was it. And they really did a good job with her in the EU of showing that a woman, if she did it right, really could have it all. Is that Mazurus? Yep, hey Maze. No, well actually they're reading glasses I broke. Shit, I gotta call them. I gotta remind myself to call VisionWorks after I'm done with you guys to get an appointment to get new glasses and new contact lenses. Anyway, I'm wearing contacts right now. But yeah, so this is kind of a sad anniversary date. It's really, when you think about what happened to Carrie her whole life and nobody really could help her. Because when she got help, she was fine for a few years and then she'd go right back. she didn't have a a support system that worked. I mean, I have a friend in the film industry who had always wanted to work with her and couldn't. Um, yeah, and you're right, Maze. Uh, we were looking at the last pictures of her before she got on the plane, and someone was bringing her beer. And she'd been in Italy before, and I don't think anybody there had her best interest at heart. I'm going to say that right now. And the reason why I say this is this: people I carry attract people who are hangers on, groupies. Um, and, if it's kind of like Prince and Michael Jackson. Both those guys had people around them that didn't have their best interest at heart. They just wanted to use them and stuff. And when I saw the pictures from Italy and then I saw pictures of her from her London townhouse, I was like, they were letting her get drunk, and yeah, they're parasites. So, God knows what she'd been up to before, but I know that's probably what led to her having that heart attack or whatever it was that she had on the plane. You know, those glasses she wore, those narrow blue tinged glasses, and the way she looked after The Force Awakens came out, I would say she probably had a stroke. I would say that probably a mini stroke. She had to wear those glasses. That color of glasses keeps a person's brain from blipping out, I think. So when I saw her wearing those, like she's not doing too good. And she'd been in New York, uh, doing press for the Princess Diarist. She'd been doing that a lot. So she really didn't have a whole lot of rest. Okay, she really wasn't getting the rest she needed. She smoked a lot. And she was, people like that are self-destructive. Okay, you got to understand addictive personalities, and then you've got, she was manic depressive. So you've got that combination, and it's like she said in an interview. I think I sent it to you, Maze. They were talking about John Belushi, and she said, I agree with you too, Maze, on that one. They were talking about John Belushi, and it was like a dinner show that actually Jon Favreau hosted. And a little tiny person with a ginormous personality says, if they can't control me, how are they ever going to control a 300-pound John Belushi? There you go. Okay. If she wanted to do something bad to herself, she would find a way to do it. Okay. And and like May said, if she had been in London or if she had been in Los Angeles when this health crisis happened, she'd still be with us. Okay. But, her passing left a huge hole in everybody's heart. No, first off, she's only 60 years old. But when you look at her, those last, she was on Colbert, and I had to stay up to watch it because I wanted to see it. And I'm like, and she was on that British TV show, oh God, I can't remember what it's called, like Chaos or something. She didn't look good. All right, she did not look good. So, but I remember bawling my eyes out and grooming my horse, and Kay looking at me like, what's wrong with you? you know. So anyway, so that's the Saturday anniversary. Now let's go to Paul Feig. So apparently, the whining, the crying, the ranting and raving. Guess what? About Ghostbusters 2016. Answer the call. The Whammon show. It's going to be included as a digital copy, not a you know 4D or 4K Blu-ray, but a digital thing in that box set. So apparently, if you cry hard enough, and you're a great big giant piece of shit SJW, you get what you want in that way. But still not quite. It's just here's the deal: if they had included it as a disc, no one would want it. But as it stands, here's the deal: no one gets the digital copies. I have a ton of Blu-rays in my collection that all have had digital copies with them when I bought it, and I didn't waste my time. Why? I've got what I want in the disc. So if you get the collection, and I'm going to assume everybody here is going to get it, you don't have to worry about the Whammon thing. Anyway, I don't think I've never ever used the code to get anything of a movie. If I want the movie, I'll either buy it on demand and then have it there, but I also have it a physical copy. My advice to everybody is this electronic shit could go away like now, okay? All right, not that we'd be in the dark ages, but we'd be back to the 1980s and the 1990s, okay? Where you couldn't just buy something and have it on your TV. You could just go onto the internet and do something, but you could have physical copies, okay? So my thing is this: go and buy copies of the things you like. All right, let's see, Fleetwood Mac's greatest hits come out, and it's on an vinyl album. Get it. Eventually, you'll probably end up having it if you don't have a vinyl album record player. Eventually, you will. You'll have one. Okay. Where I want to get one for the library. All right. And they have some really cool ones that actually could be really nice pieces of furniture just to look at. So I'm thinking about getting one for there. But but get the physical copies. Don't, because again, and I'm not blackpilling anybody, and I'm not a the world is coming to an end kind of person. I'm just saying that this is probably a good idea. And I want to say something. On my last video, my last live before Christmas, somebody came on there, one of my subscribers, an old friend of mine, and started lecturing me about my attitude about what Gina posted that got her not fired, but told she was not going to be re-signed by Lucasfilm. I want to say something. First off, don't lecture me about this stuff, all right? I spent years of academic research into this, all right? I have not only gone to these places, I have interviewed survivors. I have been literally, like, the day that we were in Carl's, we went to a picnic that Mission Viejo put on for our battalion. And Rudy and I were sitting there. There was an old man sitting there. And we sat with him. And he was German. And you can tell when you hear their accents. So I asked him, what he did and where he's from. I found out he was a German Army World War II veteran. Okay? I didn't ask him what kind of army. He said army. So let's just assume it was the army, not the SS. Okay, because I would have been like, those guys were creepy. But he creeped me out. And the reason simply is this: as we're talking, he was kind of throwing shots at the president at the time, and we were just listening to him. Guy was almost 90 years old. He might have been 90 years old. So when someone like that starts going at it, you let him. Okay, okay, fine. That's great. Whatever. So we're sitting there, and then he started talking about the former leader of Germany, and very fond reminiscing. And I was like, all right, now, granted, there were old women when Boris Yeltsin took over the Russian Republic, that when communism truly fell, that longed for the days of Joseph Stalin. And if that ever happens in China, and despite what we think, they have a problem there, okay? If you honestly think that people in China forgot about Tiananmen Square and about, you know, uh, forgot about, yeah, he said he was Wehrmacht, but, you don't, I didn't delve too much deeper into that. Anyway, there were people that, if that ever happens, where they see the downfall of communism in China, you will have people sit there bitching and moaning, longing for the days of Chairman Mao and the Great Leap Forward. Okay, that's just what happens. And that's just what this was. I didn't expect it. Neither did my husband, and we had a long talk about it. And, it depends on your point of view, and it depends on how intellectually honest a person is. But knowing what I know about those times in Germany, it doesn't shock me that he would do that. Okay? It doesn't shock me at all. It was just not what I expected on a nice day when we were celebrating the battalion and the good feelings and relationship with the city of Mission Viejo in Orange County, because they're like they would like, First Battalion, First Marine Division is a regimental size division, or regiment, battalion. The provost, the cops, the band, all these kind of support units are part of that battalion. So there's about 10,000 men, I think. I can't remember. 5,000, I can't remember. Anyway, and Mission Viejo would do stuff for the Marines. At one time, one of the really wealthy guys was like, well, I could get TVs for all the kids. And all the Marines are like, and Rudy's like, no, that's a gift. They can't accept it. It's illegal. So, shit out of luck, boys. But here's a brownie, okay? um, you know, but yeah, so it was really weird. It's all about what you remember and what you remember before that person was in charge, okay? Because if you know anything about Germany, before that person was in charge, Germany was a fucking mess. It was chaos on steroids, okay? The National Socialist German Workers' Party was fighting the commies and the socialists. You see anything weird about what I just said? Does National Socialist German Workers' Party sound a little bit odd? Well, that's you know who, okay? All right. And inflation was like, there are pictures of old ladies with a billion Deutschmarks, Reichsmarks in a wheelbarrow to go buy a loaf of bread. A billion, okay? Chaos. And the one thing a German doesn't like is chaos. No disorder in their homes, no disorder on the streets. And what they had was that during the Weimar Republic. And the Germans, they were terrified of what was going on in Russia. The butchering of the Tsar and his family was, horrifying, and it's horrifying to this day. The communists, they don't use institutions like, like, uh, um, like, uh, the, the National Socialists did. The communists destroy institutions. Okay, they destroy institutions. So it is very interesting to me that one side could say, we're going to make this, we're going to clear up the streets. The cars are going to, the trains will run on time, law and order, and anything bad goes on, we'll blame this minority. Okay, where the commies just went after the middle class. Private property, if you owned a business, you were kind of nervous about them. Socialists don't necessarily attack private property. What they do is they tax it into oblivion. Communists just take it from you. Okay, that's the difference. So they embraced the lesser of two evils. But if you look at voting rolls, into the 80 million people that lived in Germany at the time, if you look at voting rolls, it really wasn't a majority of people liked that party. And they would vote, they went in 1933 when the bad guy got named by President von Hindenburg to the chancellorship. That changed because then you had these National Socialists outweighing the Reds, the Conservatives, the Liberals, and the regular Socialists. And then it changed. Then they started getting into the institutions like the Gestapo was actually the Prussian secret police at first. Then they became the secret police that we know. They took over everything. Now, when we think about that, and I think about what that old man said, I put it into perspective, but still, it still creeped me out. It creeps me out to this day. Okay, I'd never met anybody like that. I think it is really funny. I think it would be easier for us to, for me, to be able to talk to a former Russian army officer without any problems than it would be for me to have a conversation with somebody like that. I'd met some other German World War II veterans before. There was an old guy, he actually wrote a book. I don't think he ever saw action during World War II. He was a Messerschmitt pilot. He got captured by the Russians. Wrote a book about it. You go to the Reading Air Show, this was a long time ago, it's like almost 20 years ago, and he'd be dressed up like Hermann Goering. In fact, there was a guy there this last year dressed like that, and I'm like, oh God. It just, my thing about this, and I'm going to say this, and I hope the person who got mad at me and tried to lecture me on this, I know a little bit about the 20th century. So, if we can't talk about the Holocaust, then we can't talk about the Armenian genocide that the Turks perpetrated against the Armenian minority in Turkey during World War I. We can't talk about the Bolshevik revolution. We can't talk about the Ukrainian genocide. Okay, We can't talk about the Great Leap Forward in China, where Mao butchered 20 million Chinese or more. Okay. I remember William F. Buckley saying it was more like 60 million. Okay. We can't talk about the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot. We can't talk about anything. We can't. I mean, that saying that meme that Gina put up there, because of who is in the picture, cannot be used, is bullshit. Because the context is not about the Holocaust. It is about a bunch of people who disagree with a minority of people, so they put them in cattle cars and send them away. I'm going to say this. Democrat politicians, you can look it up, have said that. AOC herself has said that. She wants to see people like me in a camp so we can get re-educated. Well, fuck you, you fucking mule-faced, big-toothed cunt. How's that? You know, that's what the meme is about. Okay? So if you're such a pea-sized brain and you're going to take Ben Shapiro's discomfort, first off, Ben Shapiro's Jewish. Okay? All right. And there are Jews out there who still won't forgive Mel Gibson after 20 years. All right? It's like, look, that was 20 years ago. He, for your own good. I mean, here's the deal. Forgiveness isn't necessarily for the person you're forgiving. It's for you, you dumbasses. Okay? All right? I don't care what your religion tells you. Psychologically, it's good for your soul to do that. But if you do anything that rationalizes, and you can't really rationalize, but you post that meme that Gina did, and some wounded, oversensitive asshole will take it to an extreme, or some nefarious, bottom-feeding, backstabbing cunt like Kathy Kennedy will do the same thing, knowing how Hollywood thinks about that event. Okay? All right? All right? I mean, so, but if that's the case, then Hollywood can't talk about the Armenian genocide, can't talk about the Chinese genocide, can't talk about the Ukrainians. Not that they would anyway, because one of their heroes, Joe Stalin, perpetuated it. We can't talk about what happened to the Native Americans. How about slavery? All right, let's go to that extreme. If we're gonna do this, we do it right. Okay? But if we can't remember history the way we should, then we have failed. Okay? That's why I didn't give two shits about what the picture portrayed. Because ultimately, what was going on was basically neighbors looking at their neighbors, seeing the other, and, calling the Gestapo on them. Okay? And the French did it. The Italians did it. The Poles did it. The Russians, when the German army swept through, and the groups of SS came in behind them to sweep up the Jews that were living in that area of Western Russia, they did it. So please, okay? And it wasn't just Jews that were killed during the Holocaust. Homosexuals, conservatives, liberals, socialists, French, Brits went to the camps, okay? Italians, Poles, Catholic priests, one of the greatest 20th century saints, Father Maximilian Kolbe, died at Auschwitz. He took the place of somebody else, died a martyr, okay? But please, go on and tell me that meme has only anything to do with the Jews, and use Ben Shapiro to be your example, okay? I don't give a shit. I don't like him. I don't like that guy. I never have, I never will. Doomcock, he has his own opinion. Fine. My opinion, as someone who sat down, read Boba, sat down in archives, looking at orders, okay? Handwritten things from 1942, all right? Walked around the Vonsay conference house where they planned that shit out. Don't tell me about it, okay? Because you haven't done it yourself. Knee-jerk emotional reactions to history piss me off, okay? Because history is fact. Fact. It is not emotional, okay? Because I could go through a long list of crimes that every group on this planet has committed. My own ancestors brought back Irish slaves. What am I going to do about it? Should I prostrate myself in front of my father-in-law who's half Irish? To beg him for... Fuck that shit. This shit happened 1,000 years ago. I don't care anymore. But that's the attitude. So fucking quit it. All right? And this is my channel. And I'll say what I want. Okay? Sure, she shouldn't have done that. I think because of who she is and where she is in the pecking order in Hollywood, I think she shouldn't have been saying anything on Twitter. I'd have told her to get the fuck off of Twitter. Okay? Don't give your enemy any ammunition to use against you. It's my opinion. Now think if she hadn't said a word. Think if she was just, doing her job. They'd be getting ready to do Rangers of the New Republic. Kennedy would be at a loss because she couldn't get rid of her. But here we are. All right? You have to save your ammo until you're in a position to use it. Okay? And when you're not in a position to use it, you're not high enough up in the pecking order, zip your fucking lip. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. I would never say a word on Capitol Hill about anything. All right? That I disagreed with in the office because I wasn't that high up in the pecking order. Now, Mr. Army asked me a direct question, how I felt about something. I would tell him, but he'd have to ask me, or the chief of staff would have to ask me, or the assistant chief of staff. No one, not my place. And it doesn't have to do anything with free speech. Okay? All right. Now, did Gina have the right to say that stuff? Yes. Was she in the position to say it? Of course. Was it a smart thing to do? Not until she's at a level where she can say what she wants and they can't do anything to her. All right? The only good thing that happened with the Gina Carano mess is that it facilitated all this shit going on. Like I said yesterday, if you look at the cards Lucasfilm put out, nothing you see has the High Republic or the sequel trilogy in it, okay? Disney, despite what certain people are saying, is not making any money at all on the hotel, and they're not making any money really with Galaxy's Edge. I look at Galaxy's Edge as being a failure. Now, you can sit there and say they're really not going to change it, but they're not making any money with it. But they're not going to change it. Okay, what is the first symptom of insanity? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, hoping the result will be different. Honest to God, it is the 27th of December, okay? We have got 4 days until January 1st. The people coming in are the money people, all right? They have control now. Iger is gone. All the bullshit that Kennedy put in and to force that shit on the park is over. She has no more say, no matter what the big channels say about it. She had no say. I wouldn't expect people who don't read and aren't intellectual to understand what the fuck a figurehead is. But there you go. Um, the money people are involved. Why? Why would they keep everything the same if they want to earn money? Okay? Just a question. Because they aren't doing it in this way. And when you look at the joyful kind of things coming out of Lucasfilm here and there, you get a sense that winds of change. Okay. My phone is going to die pretty soon, so I'm going to have to hold this thing. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about another rumor I heard. How's this one? There's a rumor in London that they've been filming a Star Wars TV show. And some people thought it was the Tales of the Jedi, but I think that's probably going to be animated. I don't give a shit what people think. It just, it just seems like an animated title. And the other rumor was it was a Han Solo TV show. All right. And if that's the case, great. I'd have to go see what Emilia Clarke is doing. But Alden Ehrenreich is working right now. I mean, he did 2 movies in a row, and he's out of the Han Solo business. He's out of the Han Solo business. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they come up and what they come up with. But those are just 2 rumors floating around. So far, no appearances of Kennedy anywhere. And Iger's got till the 1st of January at midnight. And then he is a pumpkin. That's it. That's it. All right. January 1st, we all wake up hungover to a whole new world. Okay. And it's going to be very interesting. Oh, Spider-Man No Way Home getting $1 billion. Good. There are things to be positive about. And I think we need to start thinking that way. But, let's see, what is this? And, the 29th is Boba Fett. In fact, I'm getting up on early in the morning. I'll probably be up at 2 to watch it. Bring down my computer, sit here with probably a glass of decaf soda or something. I'll probably go back to sleep, and I'll probably do it. And if there's a reaction stream after, hey guys, oh hey Senator Dave, if there's a reaction after, I'll probably jump on Polly's Latino Slants. I really want to Lady Sandy, what were you talking about? As far as my feet will carry me. But I really gotta go because I gotta go and I'm gonna make black bean tacos tonight, I think. So anyway, you guys be good, be well, and just a word to the wise. It's not that I don't care about the Holocaust, but if you're gonna make that the thing and ignore the Armenians, the Ukrainians, the Chinese twice if you actually think about what the Japanese did to them. Oh yeah, thank you, I gotta call them, etc., etc. I got nothing to say to you. Okay, I mean, you gotta put a meme like that into perspective. And if you're going to be emotional about it, I'm done. You know, I'm done. Okay? I'm not going to be lectured to on my channel. All right? I'm not. Go there and say this there. First off, fuck off. Okay? Second of all, I'll say whatever I want on my fucking channel. All right? But that wasn't for you guys. That was for the person who lectured me. Go look on on the last live stream I had to go see that. Anyway, talk to you later. I'll see you guys. And I got to call Vision Works. And I'll see you around the galaxy.